going right now. Hold on. Welcome to the first episode of Breaking News with your boy Big Steele and the legendary.
Brother Cam.
Yeah, we about to go live, man. Wait for some people to get up in this piece, man. Get some stuff going. So what's been happening with you, Cam?
Oh man, the usual. Just life is lifing and staying up with the current events and the breaking news. And this is definitely a current event breaking news. This is gonna be blasted all over all the headlines tomorrow and for the next few weeks.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, man, tell me what's on your mind, brother.
Oh, well, like I said, this is breaking news. This is the first edition. We're going to kick it off. Cam and Big Steele, breaking news, digital soapbox network. And, of course, the highlight breaking news today is Donald Trump assassination attempt. They actually, according to the news, Trump say, he's against fake news. So I'm assuming that he ain't worried about people digging deep into it and putting a magnifying glass on it and seeing what is this fake news or any kind of false flag. But assuming that it ain't, if somebody really did try to get at him like that, this absolutely solidified his reelection. You know what I'm saying? He will be king.
Oh, for sure, 100%, man. This thing definitely has sold him up, man, to put him in the driver's seat. And I think after that last debacle of a debate that him and Biden had, I think he kind of sold it up already anyway.
Yeah, all he got to do is not lose. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because Biden already lost. You know what I'm saying? Biden wasn't even going to be able to make it to the election. It'd have been a stretch for Biden to even make it to November, let alone be the president for 4 more years. So everybody knew that wasn't going to happen. So that's why, me personally, I think if this was a real deletion attempt, then I think it's because of the desperation that they know that their guy Biden was out of there, and Kamala Harris couldn't step up, and Newsom or whatever wasn't going to be able to step up. So they had to do something drastic. If it's
so
real.
You just said something. You said that the way you just said that now, you said it with a little bit of doubt in your mind, like this may be some kind of like a 52 fake.
Oh yeah, that's always on the table. That's always a possibility. You know what I'm saying? If Trump didn't learn nothing from the fake news and from all of the people that been doing him the way they've been doing him, that's just like saying did the towers, was it really 19 Arabs that did the towers?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we want to.
Yeah, no, we're not going into the details, but it's the same. We know 3,000 people really lost their lives. 3,000 is, but the actual, building 7 and all that, I don't think me personally, I don't know that Arabs had nothing to do with building 7.
Now let me ask you this: who do you think could claim responsibility? Who you think will come out and eventually? You think somebody will come out and claim responsibility for this attempt?
I don't know. They if you look at the news, they got the little dude that the shooter. I mean, I don't know if we can say that, but the guy, the sniper or whatever, is because this is public record, it's news. You know what I'm saying? He's deleted on the roof. You know what I'm saying? They keep showing footage of him, deleted on the roof. So it's actually real deletions. It's people. There's a couple of people that's really deleted. We don't know if they was quote unquote Manchurian candidates or patsies, or they was really what they was. So that's what I think the probes is going to pull out the real truth about that.
Now, have we found out? Have they talked about anything about this cat's background, or where he comes from, who he is?
I haven't heard that yet because he still was on the roof. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't funny, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'll tell you what, bro. this is gonna lead to a lot of stuff because you know Donald Trump got a whole bunch of ops, dog. He got a whole bunch of enemies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think he's petty enough and vindictive enough, bro, to where when he does take that seat back in office, it's gonna be hell to pay for some people, man. Like I
Yeah.
know he been on the Bidens and they son that whole thing with the money going over to the Ukraine and everything like that, man. Oh, it's about to go down.
And his laptop and his son's laptop and all this stuff that they was trying to incriminate Trump for, but Biden's own son was really guilty of even worse stuff or whatever. But we know that Trump was battling. He was going against the FBI, the CIA, the DOJ, the IRS, mainstream media, Federal Reserve. Like he was going against, or at least that's what he was saying and betraying, and it seemed like they was really his ops. So those are the same people that give us, as black people, black and brown people, in America, so much hell. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. A lot of people was asking me, would you vote for Trump, or who you want to win? Like, I never voted for no president in my life. I don't believe in that system. But if I would ever vote, I would vote for Trump. I would vote for Trump. You know what I'm saying? I know the actual history. I know, he don't necessarily love or like us, but he dislikes his big brothers more than he don't like us. So we
I,
can
I,
use
I
that.
would say, I would definitely say, man, based on what's going on in the present climate today,
Mhm.
and I've always been the dude to go out and vote every year. We've had conversations off air about this. I'm the one that goes out to vote every year. Like I was excited about Obama because he was going to be our first black president. I ran out to vote for him. Then, I voted for this person. But the one thing that's kind of discouraging is that there's never really any change. Nothing changes.
Right. I mean,
So what's the motivation for a cat in Compton or for a cat in South Central to go out and vote when they living conditions ain't changed nothing?
absolutely right. So if you know anything, I'm a member of the Nation of Islam for the last 33, going on 34 years. So everybody knows, I'm one of our greatest representatives and students of our leader and teacher was Malcolm X. And Malcolm X, even back in the late 50s and early 60s, he was exposing Kennedy, JFK, you know what I'm saying, when they did him like they try to do Trump apparently today, and exposed him for his, the liberal deception, the the comparison of the fox versus the wolf. Like Trump
Mhm.
represents the wolf. Like he's honest. He gonna let you know how he really feels, so you can avoid him or whatever. But the fox got the same agenda as the wolf, but he's more smile, and what I'm saying, he don't run in packs like that, and he get up close to you and you think he a friend, and his success rate in getting the sheep or the chickens is way
Mhm.
better than the wolf. So our black people, that's being cheerleaders for this Democratic Party, like that. That's where the majority of our hell even came from.
Well, you know what, man? I think us as being politically correct, us as African Americans, foundational Black Americans or whatever you want to call us, right? Whatever the big buzzword is now, we've been raised to believe that the Democratic Party had our best interests at heart, and we've been taught that since we were little kids. I know in my household, it was always, you're going to
Why?
vote for this person, and
Why?
that's what I'm saying. And I'm getting to something, but we've been kind of led down this path that, the Democratic Party has your best interests at heart. And all I've seen the Democratic Party do in my lifetime is really um, destroy the black family, so to speak. You
Yeah.
think about it right now with public housing. Oh, if you can go out, we go give you $300 a kid or whatever it is. We're going to do this. We go give you, you know, this much in food stamps for kids every month. We gonna give you this much money and we gonna give you subsidized housing. But guess what? You can't have no man in there
Ain't
with
no
you.
man in the house. Right.
You can't have no man in the house. So I think it's created this divide, man, amongst the black family to where you have a number of women, not all of them. I can't speak for all women. I don't want to generalize, but you have a whole bunch of women that feel like, well, I don't need a man in the house. And I
Well,
think a lot of that is attributed directly back to the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and like I said, I wouldn't even call it because it's deeper than that. But just for the sake of the conversation, we will say Democrat or Republican or conservative and liberal. But it was neither one of those. It was all of those that enslaved us for 400 years. You know what I'm saying? For the last 400 years. So that's
Mhm.
just Coke and Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? It's the same people. It's a people. It's not a political party that's the problem. It's the actual nature of a race of people. You know what I'm saying? Towards another race, that's the problem. So politics ain't never gonna solve that. So if you're thinking that the solution is in voting or politics, vote for this former slave master's children versus this former slave master's child. Like we blind, deaf, and dumb if we think that.
Now, do you think Trump, when he does come in office, do you see a big change happening?
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. The change that's coming is going to be, his retaliation to his ops. You know,
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, man, because I don't have no delusion, man, that Donald Trump is an angel, right?
is
I think all of them, no, I don't have no, I have no, I don't think Trump is an angel. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's an angel, but I don't think he's any different than any other person of power. I
I
think
do.
he's going to do,
I think he's an angel, and I think he's different than any president before him. I'm not saying that he's good or better, better. Like, but we got the history of his presidency. Like, we got his 4 years on record, and we know
Mhm.
that during his presidency, he didn't do nothing as bad as no president before him. Any president, you claim that he's racist, but the liberal or democratic, presidents before him that claim to love black people did black people in America and Africa and throughout the world worse than anybody. So Trump ain't. We didn't have no wars under Trump. I'm not saying that he's good or loves us or whatever. I'm just talking about the data, the facts and the data, especially concerning black people. We was thriving. We was having businesses, independent businesses. It wasn't until COVID hit that stuff went kind of crazy. But that was Fauci.
Mhm.
That was Fauci. Remember?
Well, let me ask you this. I do think to a certain extent, Trump may have benefited from some of the work that was done by the previous administration.
Who was the previous administration?
I think before he came in, wasn't Obama in there?
So what did Obama do for us?
Well, you know what? I'm
No,
not getting to that. I'm not
you
trying to
don't,
get
don't
into
start don't start the answer
it.
with well, you know what?
Yeah, I'm not trying. Yeah, I'm not trying to get into no brain wrestling contest with you, brother Cam, because I don't want that. I don't want that smoke. But this is what I'm saying. I think all of these people, man, to a certain extent, just be selling wolf tickets.
Say that one more time.
I think a lot of these people, to a certain extent, just be out there selling us wolf tickets.
They all do. It's like I said,
Mhm.
like this ain't new. This was going on before we was born with Malcolm X. Anybody that claimed that they recognize and love Malcolm X for being the greatest black leader, this is exactly the subject that he was exposing in 1961, 62, or whatever, regarding the Democratic president John F. Kennedy and the liberal, acting like they love us and the Democratic Party. This is just history repeating itself. There's no new information. So Trump is the only new thing because he's coming out being honest about his feelings. I'm not saying he's being truthful, like they all lie, politicians lie, but he being honest about his feelings. You're gonna know how he feels about people.
Well, one thing I do like about Trump is that I do think with Trump we may see some changes because I know that Trump is not a big fan of the IRS, which is one of the biggest rules, just one of the biggest. I want to be careful with my word, and I think
Yeah,
they ain't no different than the dudes back in the day that used to go shake down the little small mom and pop stores, the gangsters.
right.
You think about this. Think about this system, man. That you go out and work. Let's talk about the average Joe Blow American, right? That go out and might make $25 an hour, and by the time he get his check, let's say he don't put in some overtime. Let's say his check, every other week is $1,400, $1,500 or whatever it is. A good number of that, a large percentage of that check is gone before he even get to touch it.
Right.
And in some cases, he sees no benefit off the money that they taking from him. I know me, I pay a lot of money in taxes every year. Now, I do believe that you have to support your country. You feel what I'm saying? I know we have to pay we have to pay to keep, everything running smoothly. But
Who got to pay? Who should pay?
the American people, the people living in the country.
Are the blacks descendants of slaves Americans?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna get into that, right? I'm going to get into that. But what I'm saying is like this: the way taxation goes right now, they are the only debt collectors that can follow you to your grave. You know, if me and you die owing taxes, that they go come back and try to go after our wives, and if our
who
wives
is
ain't
they?
got it, they go, huh?
Who is they?
The IRS.
Who is the IRS?
You know what? A branch, and I don't even think they're officially a branch of the American government. Wherever that corporation is, the people behind them. If you
That's
know
what
who
I'm
that
saying.
is, enlighten me. Who is
That's
the
not.
IRS?
It's a race of people, right?
Mhm.
Who owns the Federal Reserve? Who owns and controls you know the central banks, and who controls the IRS? Who controls Hollywood, the mainstream media? Who is the CEOs and the
Mhm.
CFOs and all of that? Who is Larry Fink? Do you know who Larry Fink is?
I've heard that name before. I don't know a lot about him though.
Yeah, he's the CEO of BlackRock. You heard of the company called BlackRock?
Yes, I have.
Okay, Larry Fink is a Jewish, white Jewish man that's the CEO of BlackRock, and that's the answer to a lot of the questions. Um, and that's not necessarily a bad thing for a person of a certain faith or race or whatever to be in a position of power, but we can't act like it's just some institution that's doing the dirt instead of the actual people that you can identify that establish and runs the institutions. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So we
You
can't
know,
blame a Democratic Party or whatever, or a title. We got to identify the people that make up that party.
well, my main problem with taxation is this, Cam, is living in California. You just see the hypocrisy of it all, right? You go downtown right now. They've done a lot of work in downtown LA. Downtown LA actually looks pretty decent right now, outside of the thousands of homeless people running around.
Right.
So you walking into a condominium or a loft that may be 10, 15,000 a month, right? You walking over, people are getting the lobby. I think our homeless situation in this country is out of control. I think it's a lot going on here, and it disturbs me when I look up and I see that we sending millions of dollars to a foreign country,
Billions.
billions, and not saying that we don't have to help people or keep that in line and keep this set of people out of there, whatever. But I think we would benefit more by taking care of home first, taking care of our people over here.
Yeah, that's what Trump is about, and that's what America is. That's what the woke, white masses now, 80, 90 million uh, Trump supporters. They have been awakened. They woke in their version to Big Brother, to their Big Brother's deception of how
Mhm.
they've been using little brothers masses to make them think that they was all included, when all the while they was using them as disposable diapers, just like they was using us. You know what I'm saying? So it's a small 1% or a super class. It's not even an upper class. It's super class, 0.00 point whatever 1% of people. Like I said, and it's the Black Rocks and I forgot the other company. And Trump even said by name some of the powerful people that's against him, his ops. He said one of them was George Soros. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So if you know what people like that, him and Bill Gates and all these people is connected to, and what they got their hands on and what they control, that's a brotherhood. Unfortunately, it's many Zionist, you know, member brotherhood that Trump ain't a part of that camp.
Now, we talking about Trump's opposition.
Yeah.
What do you think his first order of business is going to be once he get in? What you think he gonna get done the first 90 days as far as his opposition? You think he gonna go at him right away,
Oh
or you
yeah.
think he gonna kind of be methodical about it? You think he gonna wait a little bit?
He's he's Don. He's a Don. Like, dude is really a boss, if you know what I mean. I don't want to put that other title, that, but he's a boss, and he's about money, and he's like the art of the deal. But just like the Godfather, if you've seen the Godfather, first order of business, was get at those who tried to get at me. So the
Mhm.
top people that he know try to get at him, his first order of business is to knock down and erase whatever policies or whatever that Biden had put up and replace them with his original policies. And then since he saw what Biden was able to do with the powers of the government or the presidency to override them to try to lock Trump up, he finna return the favor. He gonna
Mhm.
if Biden is still alive, should by then, but he definitely gonna do by Hunter. Hunter is going.
Mhm.
Hunter gonna be under the jail.
Well, you know what? I don't understand that, man, because they found out that the dude was in the White House doing drugs.
Yeah, yeah. But he know that. It's like that. That's their boys club rule. Like they know they all freaks and drug addicts and doing whatever they do. But if you rolled over on me, you already broke the code. So they already broke that code amongst each other and let it spill out into the media. So
Mhm.
all bets is off. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that, they still gonna do their warfare behind closed doors against the deep set state according to their secret fraternal order, secret fraternity, secret society brotherhood. But it's cracking. It's up. It's up with them. That's why this happened today. It's up.
Well, I know me and you talk offline about a lot of that stuff, and I want to be real careful with you because I know you would be taking everybody out here down a rabbit hole, and I'll look up and we'd be banned from the internet.
Yeah,
So
I,
I ain't gonna try to go too deep with you, man. How much how much of everything you think that goes on right now in politics, just the world in general, is just controlled by a few elite people?
everything of this system is controlled by a few elite people. Only thing that's not controlled is people like us. That's free thinkers, that's critical thinkers, that's rebellious, and that's why they so frightened, and that's why they want to take away the guns and all of that because they see that they've been able to control you know descendant of slaves to control our uprisings to a certain degree because they know that we emotionally still traumatized and we at each other's throat. We got self hate, but when they see the white masses, redneck masses, waking up and seeing who their real enemy is, which is Big Brother, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That's who they fear because they gonna unite. They gonna secede from the union, like in Texas. They gonna buy up. Like when Obama became president, you couldn't find no ammunition or no guns nowhere because white Trump supporters bought them all. They stocked up on survival supplies, food, water, everything. So that's what they fear. That's what these small hats or these minority, super elites fear that now, we waking up and we gonna join on to enemies of theirs. We're gonna unite, even if it's black people gonna unite with white people, gonna unite with Mexican people because we see who the real enemy is now. They terrified of
Yeah, you know what? One thing I think there's a lot of real distraction that goes on right now because we have a lot of issues, right?
that. Mm.
And if you ask the average person in our community about politics, not saying that we all have to become pundits, because there's still a lot I need to learn about politics, right? But I see that the average person today has no interest in what's going on in the world today. And I know we say that that doesn't impact us, but government impacts our communities in a lot of ways, right? Starting with the local government, right? From your mayor's office to your city councilman. And I think that's why when you go in certain communities, you see their school districts might be better than the ones in our community. A lot of these people don't have opportunities to get the same funding as others, even though they have all of these programs.
Mm.
When do you think the romance between Black America and politics sort of ended, or was there ever really a romance?
No, it wasn't a romance. It was statutory grape. It wasn't never no consensual, mutual, whatever. Somebody was getting macked and pimped. He
Mm.
macked your mind real good, and he was like, "Yes, daddy, here, take my money. Daddy loves me. Let me give daddy my check."
Like I look at the situation down in Oklahoma where they had actually went to trial. Some of the people that lost buildings and property, businesses, and everything else, and I saw that they lost that case, and that was kind of disheartening. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Which case?
Yeah, they just had a thing. I'm gonna pull it up right now. They had a thing right now.
But you saying that to say what? Like we was relying on thinking things were gonna go in our favor or something?
You know what? It would be nice every once in a while if we got a victory like this thing with even when they talk about reparations for slavery.
Uh,
I don't know if that'd ever happen, Cam.
it is gonna happen. It's not gonna happen the way the politicians and political system say it's going to happen. Reparation is not a political concept. Reparations is a spiritual and biblical prophecy. So if you're not looking at it from a spiritual and a natural and universal prophetic standpoint, then you already lost. It's not going to happen politically. According to the reparations thing, it's like Israel. Israel is claiming to be, they're claiming ownership of that land and be taken care of for 70 something years so far with billions of our tax dollars per year because they claim that they're the descendants of 400 years of slavery. You know that,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's not
So
a political thing. That's a spiritual thing, right? A
yeah,
spiritual.
Cam, hold that thought real quick because I found it what I was looking for.
Uh,
The descendants of it was a lawsuit, man, based on a 1921 Tulsa race massacre, right?
uh,
And you got the last two survivors of that incident that been around for since then, waiting for this moment to get justice. They dismissed the lawsuit.
yeah, sound about right. I mean, right?
And stuff like that. To me, not saying that I want brothers and sisters out there just tearing up stuff, but I wish we would just be a little bit more aware of what's going on. Because if you're talking to somebody about half the BS that's going on the internet now, who's snitching, who doing this, somebody can give you that information verbatim right off the top of their head, right? And I'm
Right.
talking about brothers in some cases who older than me and you both, right? But when it comes to having like really intelligent dialogue about what's going on in the world, we don't have no leadership hardly, Cam. It's like we out here stuck on stupid, bro.
Yeah, because we're not acknowledging who our divine leader. Like we keep on, politics is a European construct. This political system. Our solution is not in politics of our former slave masters. Our 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 success is in independence and identifying who the most high or who just natural wisdom has proven is the wisest among us in maneuvering through these people, these former slave masters, to be able to secure independence and sovereignty or own their own and unite their own community, unite our own nation in the midst of the oppression that's going on all around us. And nobody has proved to do that but the Nation of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So it's not that you got to be a Muslim or some religion, but the facts are the facts. Like nobody comes close to accomplishing that. And even to this day, Minister Farrakhan is, you know, he's the watchman. He got a perfect record. He's undefeated. Any wisdom, any identifying an enemy, any calling the shot and prophesying and what this person is thinking and what they're gonna do and what their plans for us is, he's been the man. You know what I'm saying? So why don't we try him? Why do we keep trying Bidens and Bushes and RFKs and Trumps? Like why we keep trying our slave master, but we won't try our own?
You know what I think it is too, Cam. I think that a lot of us, man, are just so disenfranchised right now with the system to where they just almost just plug their ears to it, like they don't want to hear about it, they don't want to know about it, they don't want to educate themselves about it, they don't want to know. And me and you always have these conversations, and we have some pretty deep conversations offline, right? Like I always tell you, I'm a Christian man, right? I'm a
Yeah,
Christian man. My
I'm a
faith,
Christian
I
too.
believe. Yeah,
I'm a Christian. I'm
but
a Christian. I'm a
I
Muslim.
think
I'm a Hebrew.
I think that people are in such a sensitive space right now, and I think it's really divisive, and I think it's purposeful. Sometimes I think it's done on purpose, right? To where you can't even have a conversation with nobody without if somebody getting offended, man.
Yeah, but and that's why you got to be wise enough. Like if you know you got the truth and you know your truth is superior and you know you got the receipts, then you don't have to take somebody else's emotions personally. Like I don't even have to get emotional. I can sit there with a smile. I can agree with you or I can disagree with you with a smile, and I can find something that you said that that I can agree with. I could find something that we can agree on because we already know what we don't agree on. So let's talk about what we do agree on, and just build on that. But people that's trying to prove a point or that's trying to be right just because of my ego, I want to be right. Then you ain't gonna get nowhere with that. So people that have actually accomplished success and produced results, produced the nation, and produced the community, produced results. They don't have those emotional ego hangups. They really team players. They really listen. They really humble or whatever. But if you don't agree with them, they still gonna leave that meeting and go continue building their nation that they already successfully have been building. You know what I'm saying? So
Now,
your
one
feelings
thing,
ain't gonna make no difference.
the one thing I will say, Cam, and I agree with you 1,000%. I'm not a Muslim, but I don't think no one has done better work in our communities as far as taking the developing men. You feel what I'm saying? Developing solid men. Because I've had homeboys that I personally have, come home from prison, and they come home as different people because they embrace the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it just made them better people. And I think anything that makes someone a better person, a better man, I think that's what we miss in the communities. I think we really missing men in the community now. You remember me and you around the same age, right? You remember we had a certain man in the community back then to where you admired that dude, right? He wasn't necessarily the drug dealer. It wasn't always the drug dealer, right? It was always the dude that had a good job, that took care of his family. And if he saw you doing something wrong, he'd kind of snatch you up by your collars. We don't have that person no more. That
Yeah.
man is non-existent in the community now.
Yeah, because we've been targeted. Like I said, I keep on, even though we talking on politics, because this is a political dude that, attempted deletion, but it's really about spiritual prophecy. So if we really are the descendants of slaves or the descendants of, Abraham, the seed of Abraham that went through slavery 400 years overseas, and after that 400 years, it's written that two messengers showed up, Moses and Aaron, and they started waking up the slave people and started changing their religion. So the Pharaoh, the king, or rulers, or the presidents and the chiefs saw this happening, and they said, we gotta talk about this. Come on, let's deal wisely with them because we fearing now that in a time of war that they might join on to an enemy of ours and come against us because they multiplying too much, and this new leader is among them changing their religion and changing their view of us. So the plan that they came up with, and this is Christianity, the plan of said, "Come, let us deal wisely with them." What they came up with is kill the males, spare and spoil the females. Give the females jobs and status and grants and accolades, and gas them all the way up so that and money, and so they believe that they're better than their black men, or they don't need their black men or whatever, and then deprive the black men of their natural rights over their women, over their children, over their own household, over their body, over their property. So this is an attack is deeper than political. It's spiritual. The spiritual wickedness in high places that puts on the clothing of political. You know what I'm saying? But this already been written. So if you know what you're looking at, if you know what you're reading when you read the Bible, then you know what it is. So
You already gave me your answer, so to speak. Do you believe that Donald Trump is the best candidate for the black and brown people in this country?
for president,
Uh,
yeah, because because Donald Trump is the best candidate because Donald Trump is going to be the man to cause the fall of America. America don't have
that's
no
deep.
America does not have no hope. There is no future for America. America has to be destroyed because she was founded on genocide. She was founded on slavery and human trafficking and all of the worst stuff in the annals of history is what they did to the Native American, Indian, indigenous, our brothers and sisters, and what they did to us. So there's no future whatsoever, and that's why the Bible and Quran and all that prophesy that, Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen. It's become the habitation of devils. So this is the land of the free, but free don't mean righteous. It means free to be a devil, free to do rainbow this, free to change, to cut your children's, little, transition, free
All
to
right,
do.
Cam.
Yeah.
You keep on going. You keep on going, man.
I ain't saying it, but
All right,
free,
yeah.
Free to do
And,
everything that your nature says you shouldn't do.
and I think that is very important, man, that we as a community, as a people, not just black people, but brown people, poor white people. I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump did manage to do. He managed to wake up the poor white person in middle America, that's been kind of ignored, feeling like they've been ignored, right? Because, they started off, they pretty much made them our enemies, right? Because we were given so much stuff in their eyes, right? Oh, they're doing this for them. You have this program for them. What about me? I'm almost punished for being a white man. That's pretty much the thought today of the average Anglo-Saxon male. Like, what about me?
Yeah, but it wasn't because of what they was giving black people. It was more that what they was doing and including for Mexican, for black Latino, so-called Latino, because they never had a problem. Black people wasn't getting that much. If they was really going to do something for black people, then they would carved out a few states. They would have gave us our own separate state and territory like they did for Israel. So black people wasn't who they was tripping on. It was the Mexican. When Mexican, the booming Mexican population, because United States, whether y'all know it or not, was Mexico. 3/4 of the whole United States, this was Mexico, right? It was
Yeah, I
first.
believe. Yeah, was it Texas,
No,
New
not
Orleans?
just Texas. 3/4 of the United
Yeah,
States.
it was a lot of stuff. I think New Orleans, Texas, California, Oregon,
Yeah. So now
Washington.
the conquistadors come in and pilgrims and all of that, and they decimate the native indigenous population, and then they start graping the women and producing Mexicans. The reason why our skin is light, we're not dark Africans, because we have English conquerors, English slave masters, English human traffickers and grapers that did that to our mothers, our great grandmothers, and so we're products of that. So our skin is not black. We call ourselves black. We know that's our nature, what I'm saying, and our identity. But it's same with the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? But it's just their indigenous tribe of black was the black Moor, the black Indian, and their noses were straight, and they hair was straight. They had thin lips, but they were still indigenous, original black people. So when the white European Spaniards came and conquered them and mixed their blood, they could pass as white. So a lot of Mexicans, they side with the Aryan, identity, but in reality, their nature is ancient indigenous black. They from the black Inca and Maya and Aztec and Olmec and Toltec, like those. That's why it's pyramids all over South America and Mexico or whatever, because they're our brother tribe. You know what I'm saying? They just don't know it. They got mentally hit upside the head by the white Spaniards, like we got hit up by the white Englishmen.
Okay, Cam, I'm gonna try to get you to look into the future a little bit. What does Donald Trump do his first 90 days in office in the event he does win? What do you think? What do you think is gonna happen?
He gonna be locking fools up.
Oh, so
So
you think he gonna go there with some people?
oh, absolutely. He gonna use executive orders. He ain't gonna waste time with no trials and no indictments or whatever. He might do that to a few people, but he gonna use his executive powers, to lock up people. He's gonna, like he already said, there's only two genders. It's only a male and a female, and it's a criminal act if any schools or any systems or workplaces is trying to implement this transition stuff or this rainbow, stuff. Like he already said what he's gonna do on that. But his first order of business is to get at who tried to get rid of him. You know,
Mm.
the people that tried to indict him, impeach him, and delete him, those is who he getting at first.
Do you think we're looking, and I'm not asking for people out there, some of this stuff I already have my ideas about, I'm just asking Cam,
Mhm.
do you think those are the same entities, the same people trying to lock him up and put him away? You think those are the same individuals that made this attempt?
Yeah, what is those people are behind the people that made the attempt. That's just like saying who pulled the such and such on Kennedy, right?
Mm.
It's not who you use, it's who called the shot, who employed that, who employed him, like them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Mm.
it's absolutely the same people. And it's like I said, it's a deep state, and it's some people say that it's a mafia or a shadow government, but it's an organization. It's organized, powerful money people. Some say that the Pope is involved. Some say that what I'm saying, that Bibi Netanyahu is involved. Some say a lot of stuff. So that's just speculation. But I got my eyes all the way open because I heard Trump mention George Soros by name, and I heard Trump say, his dissatisfaction with Netanyahu and his dissatisfaction with the Ukrainian, whoever got to,
Mm.
behind that. So
That whole thing just bothers me a great deal because in America right now, I was explaining something to someone one day. Our money is backed by silver, gold, and all this stuff, right?
who's money?
So our money. So right now we just hold on, let me tell you, because I already know what you're gonna say, and you're correct before you even say it, but we just print money right now, right? And the
Mhm.
more of that money we print, our dollars gonna wind up being like the peso. I went to McDonald's the other day. My nephew was in the car with me, and he was like, "I want some McDonald's." So I went to McDonald's, man, and I bought him a 2 cheeseburger meal and a couple apple pies. It was $25.
Mhm.
So we seeing a direct result of all the BS that's going on right now. It's crazy, man. And I
Yeah,
think we need to wake up and pay attention, man. That's why I haven't made I'm telling everybody right now, save your money. I haven't went out and bought no cars, Cam. I haven't went out and done nothing. All of my stuff is being put up right now. I'm not spending no bunch of money on no frivolous stuff
yeah.
because I think we gonna need it.
What we need to spend money on right now, if you got it, depending on how much you got, is converting your US dollars into gold or silver,
Bingo.
and
Hmm.
the other currency is land.
Hmm.
And
Well,
all
you
this
already know
into
my
land.
plan. You already know my plan for next year. I told you, me and you gonna be neighbors, man. Next summer, I already told my wife we getting out of here. Our house is worth a certain amount right now, our condo, man. And I'm checking out of here because that's one of the last few places left where it's an abundance of land. Further you get
Yeah,
out, I'm looking at something now that's like on an acre of land, and I'm not necessarily looking for the biggest house right now. I'm
yeah,
looking for like a 5 bedroom because I'm gonna move moms in with me, like we talked about. But everybody out there, start putting your money, just like this brother just said. If you have some extra, it don't have to be a lot. Start diverting some funds into getting silver, gold, and start getting into land. So you can have your own resources. Because I'm gonna tell you, Cam, the biggest reason I want land is to be able to grow my own food.
of course. That's what
Is to be
land is
able
all
to,
about.
to be able to get my own livestock and have a certain sense of security. Because I think it's about to go down, bro, in the next five,
It's
6 years.
already, it's already not even 5 or 6 years. It's sooner than that. And we used to be the farmers. We used to be the masters, or under the slave masters of the plantation. We was masters of knowing how to grow food and farm animals and animal husbandries and all of that. But since it was attached to terrorism and torment and torture and violence, we associated that priceless skill with that nightmare treatment. So our DNA, we kind of reject. Oh man, I ain't working in no field. I ain't messing with no animals. I ain't growing. We think vegetables and fruits come from the store. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We think our hot wings or whatever come from the
Yeah.
restaurant.
What's funny, man? I got a lot of family in Mississippi, so shout out to everybody from Mississippi, right?
Mhm.
Down in Tupelo, Hattiesburg. I remember I used to go down there every summer, right? And first thing I remember about them is that they woke up hella early in the morning,
Mhm.
like real early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So we go to bed, man, like 8 o'clock that night. I was tripping off that. Wasn't no TV in the house, none of that stuff. You go to bed and it's dark, you know. You wake up in the morning and eat breakfast. They would have fried chicken, biscuits, eggs, you know, like this big old spread, right? And I remember looking at the chicken breast down there and I thought it was something wrong with it because it was brown.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it was brown
Yeah.
and I wasn't used to eating free range chicken and stuff like that, you know, straight off the range because when they woke up
Yeah.
in the morning, my aunt, she get the chicken, cut his head off, saw that the next morning, right? And it just tasted different, man. And ever since then, I'm like, man, that's how I want to have my house set up when I get older. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to do that. And originally being from Ohio, we used to go to the Amish country and eat
Oh
food
yeah.
over there. It
Oh
was
yeah.
a different experience because right
Oh
now
yeah.
this stuff they feeding us is not real food, man. A lot of stuff is genetically modified. It's just
Yeah.
bad all around right now.
And the Amish people don't got none of the diseases that we suffering from.
Oh
That's
no,
why
not
they
at all.
even, they outlaw, the FDA or whatever outlawed raw milk. They outlawed certain things that we've been living off of, forever. That was natural. They outlawed rainwater, collecting rainwater. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
So you
So
think? Go ahead.
So I mean, that's letting you know what do they know that we don't. You know what I'm saying? If it's a real agenda to memorandum 200 on the books from Henry Kissinger, 1973, 1974, that clearly states the depopulation agenda to depopulate us, right? And they're going to do it through the Fauci type stuff. They're gonna do it through the food. They're gonna do it through the water. They're gonna do it through other things that, there's actual. The other thing that Fauci was uh, found guilty of doing at the Wuhan laboratory, which is creating viral weapons. Gain of function manipulation on deadly viruses for the purpose of weaponry. Weapons of mass destruction. So it's all been laid out. It's just they keep us partying, they keep us high, they keep us drunk, they keep us twerking, and what I'm saying, and clapping our asses and talking about smashing and lust and vices. So by the time we wake up or whatever, it's too late.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to ask you, right? Over the next year or so, you already said Trump is going to put a lot of people in jail, right?
Mhm.
What do you think the biggest thing is going to happen to Black America this upcoming year?
They're gonna have to separate. Like I said, y'all will see. You will see because this is already written. Just like I was saying earlier about it's not political. It's biblical. It's prophetic. It already was written. And if you don't know how to overlay and read, the code of it, if the people don't unite with their own, identify who their Moses and Aaron is and who their Hebrew nation is, then they're going to stay with, you know, Pharaoh, or they're going to stay with, the people of Noah. They're going to choose not to get on the ark, all the little examples or metaphors or whatever. So the Bible or whatever says that the majority of the population get wiped out.
Mm.
That's what the book say. That's what that, and I know that book has been tampered with, but we are students and we are studiers and we go into it and study and actually can test and decipher and take out the parts that we know is tampering and compare it with nature and compare it with facts and history and all of that. So anybody that don't get with their own nation, their own Moses and Aaron, and I'm just gonna say it straight out that Minister Farrakhan, the God of your ancestors and your fathers, your indigenous original nation, you're just gonna be lost. You're gonna go down with the Egyptians.
Mm. So, man, not to divert you too much, because I don't want to divert. We supposed to be talking about this stuff right here. You know, I got to ask, man, because I'm nosing, and you still ain't telling me what's going on.
With what?
What's going on with you, Tyrese and Snoop, right now, man?
No, it's. I mean, I don't. You single those guys out. Um, it's part of what we're talking about right now. Just understanding what our focus is supposed to be. We supposed to be
Mm,
focused on the real enemy, the real crisis that we in right now, and not vices, and not entertainment, and not Hollywood acting or whatever. Especially if our acting or our music is not waking us up. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
So
So do
otherwise,
you think I was gonna get to that, not to cut you off, brother. Do you think this music today, man, is intentional? I know it's intentional. I know because they go in the studios and writing, of course, but there seems to be a lack of what you would call conscious hip hop. The brothers like you that actually had a message, you, the Public Enemies, and things like that. It seemed like when so-called and they coined it as gangster rap when in reality it was reality rap, right? Do you
mhm,
think it was intentional in moving all that stuff out the way?
of course, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, they paint me like now they got this thing like what's your streams? What's your streams? Like I don't even know what the hell streams are. Like we know what contribution and value that a person like me brought to rap, especially West Coast, especially LA streets, in terms of peace treaty and whoop whoop and just activisms or whatever, my rebelliousness. I was always with the business, with the warfare or the dissing, but I was dissing a real enemy. I wasn't trying to diss our own people. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes, like Kendrick said, you got to pop out and show ninjas too, and get at them. So you hear a lot of, after this Kendrick and Drake thing, you see Cube and different people. I heard Cube on, saying that not the best diss record ever. And Kendrick is not hit him up. Tupac is no Vaseline. I took out four ninjas and blah blah this and that. Like, damn, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you really want to go there, like, you never responded to whoop whoop. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, it was a lot that went on with that record, man, because I know it was radio stations being told if they played that record, he was pulling out of certain stuff. We ain't gonna go back and all that, but it was a lot of behind the scenes technology and warfare going on. He chose not to respond on record, but he was trying to respond in other ways.
well, yeah, he was responding in other ways, like you said, sanctioning. If he on the show, I ain't performing. If y'all play this, I ain't gonna, all that type of stuff. But if it's just rap, people like that, like he made up. I think they was beefing with Be Real. He was beefing with Common. They made up. Like, why am I the boogeyman? Well, people scared to scared to make up with me. You know what I'm saying? Because they know my thing ain't entertainment. This wasn't entertainment. You know what I'm saying? My raps be serious. It be about real business, and this is how I just get it off. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But it's backed up by real activity. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think.
Yeah,
And
man, I
I
know
got
you
I
gonna
got
be
some new stuff coming out too for right now. I don't want to do violence to nobody. I don't want to get in no violence with my own people. But
for
I
sure,
got a
man.
sword. I got a verbal sword that I need to cut some things.
As you do your thing with, and I know you got a couple things that we doing together, man, on the Digital Soapbox Network. And how many days a week we go do this right here, man? How many times we go come on to the people so I can tell the people? Because I know the day was just kind of just abrupt. It was just something,
Yeah,
let's go do a live. We wasn't really expecting a whole lot from it tonight, man. Kind of like our little
yeah,
test
yeah,
drive,
yeah, yeah.
our little test drive. We'll start doing a bunch of live stuff. When can the people come on here and check us out, man?
Man, I say at least 3 times, 2 or 3 times a week, and depending on the current events, if we, me personally, I might be able to get on here every day. You know what I'm saying? I might
Oh,
be
for
able
sure.
to.
I know you gonna be on here too, brother Cam. We'll be on here. And, y'all see his official West Coast Cam, man. Make sure y'all looking out for my brother, man.
Mhm.
Going to give brother Cam, as they would say in church, a love offering. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because
Love offering.
that the powers that be ain't gonna sponsor me. So you know,
Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure, man. Well, we appreciate y'all all tuning in tonight. And again, it's breaking news with Cam and Steele. I think we'd be doing every Monday, Wednesday, and we're gonna do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Like it's on you. You know what I'm saying?
So
We can
every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think we should get on here a little bit, like earlier, man. Probably like maybe 4 o'clock our time, West
yeah,
Coast time,
yeah.
and maybe 7 o'clock on the East Coast, so the East Coast brothers can get it in too, so they ain't back there, missing out and they sleep.
Right. Or we can this time slot was kind of good, like 6 o'clock. I would say like 6 o'clock West Coast time, 9 o'clock East Coast time. That's a cool little slot where everybody off of work, you know what I'm saying, or they driving home from work.
Yeah, for sure. And I know the next one will be a lot more structured and detailed and everything. So we appreciate y'all sitting in, and we go check up out of here right now. Again, hit my boy up, official West Coast Cam. And we out of here.
And we out. Peace.